tell us exactly what ChatSpot is. Give us an idea about what those features are. What exactly does it do?
In the interface, if you have seen it already, there are 40-50 questions it prompts you to ask. Questions basic like how many leads I generated in the last 30 days, how many MQLs were there in the last 30 days, how many deals got created, what's the value of those deals got created, how many are in which stage of the pipeline, right? As simple as questions like that, too complicated like, okay, build me a chart, break the data down by months and give me a lead count from various sources that I have.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to our podcast, The Marketing Context. We have the guest here with the extra cushions, Tushar Mittal, who is the marketing lead at ContentNinja. I am your host here, Mayank. I go by Mayank, and I'm the founder of the organization. So, Tushar,
Yes.
the topic of discussion for today is ChatSpot, which is built on ChatGPT, right?
Yeah.
And if you haven't been living under a rock, I'm sure you know what ChatGPT is. It is one of the bane of writers, as most people call it. But there's some very interesting applications to having a generalist generative AI that can communicate with you as well. And recently, what we heard is that HubSpot, calling it a CRM platform would be a gross understatement. But what HubSpot is doing is essentially adding ChatGPT to the platform and integrating it in a way that you actually get conversational intelligence. You get ChatSpot. Clearly, no points for
Yeah, no creativity there, but yes.
yeah. So with that in mind, right? So let's start with this. Let's start with ChatGPT in its basic state. What exactly is that? And then move on to what's HubSpot planning to do with this. Is this just some faff riding the wave sort of thing, or is this something that actually that'll change the way that people deal with their customer data?
So I think not a lot of people would understand ChatSpot at this point, but they understand ChatGPT. It's been around for quite some time now. Everybody is talking about it. Everybody in any business, be it B2C, B2B, they've been talking about it. It's like it's gonna eat up some jobs out there. So everybody is excited about it. They're fearing about it. There's some fear, some excitement. So that's around. So I'll take the ChatGPT example to explain what ChatSpot is really, right? So so ChatGPT is nothing but a AI language processing system, right? Where it's sitting on a corpus of a huge database, right? And it takes that database and it throws conversations to you. You ask questions to it. It answers in a very intelligent manner, like a human would, right? It's replicating that personality and that conversation feel, right? And because it's sitting on a database and throwing inferences from that database, taking the same concept and drilling that or shrinking that data to your HubSpot or your CRM's database is what ChatSpot is. It's taken that substrata of that database, the huge database that's out there. It's not taking that database. It's taking the smaller database which is in your CRM, and then you're asking questions to your CRM and answering it back. So any like a question that you might ask from one of your CRM experts or CRM folks in your company that, okay, what's the leads being generated this month? Like as simple as questions like those in a conversation manner, you can just ask this tool. So HubSpot has, yes, ridden on this wave of, the ChatGPT wave, but they have come up with very intelligent tool, right? Which I am very surprised that not other CRMs or any system for that matter that sits on database and throws inferences on at you, right? They haven't thought about it.
So we will get to the. I want to get to the details in a bit, but again, maybe we should have started with this. A quick disclaimer: we're marketers who love technology,
And we love to talk. So
we love to talk, but we're not technologists. So my question, right? As you said, you have ChatGPT, which is one of the first, maybe not one of the first. Actually, I'm pretty sure I don't have the data right, but it's one of the systems to actually crack the Turing test, where you have a human interact with it, and the person has to guess whether they're talking to a person or a bot. And ChatGPT has been one that has consistently won that. That was ChatGPT 3. ChatGPT 4 now has passed the bar exam.
yeah,
It's unreal how fast this is moving. But to actually find a generalist who knows about everything on the larger database, which is the internet, and ask it to now only focus on your CRM, on your customer data. It seems like such an obvious move to me.
Yeah.
What was stopping us from doing this? Like what by us I mean the collective human intelligence. Like what changed?
I think a lot of people were not very sure about what ChatGPT and the power of it for a lot of time. Like still, if you ask ChatGPT, it's the quality of the input that will derive the quality of the output of the answer, right? You have a shitty a question that you ask, you'll get a shitty answer out of it, right? Now, so one, the doubt of will this, like this is a tool to play around with, and it still is, right? ChatGPT, the module that we see out there, right? That's the company is like, it's a prototype. It's not a finished product. Still, you're playing around with it. So I think the companies were not very sure about how this will apply to their businesses. I think that might be the case. Then this tool will have a lot of applications and a lot of businesses. Like HubSpot is a smart organization. They figured it out that, okay, this similar application, how can we apply that to our business? I'm sure a lot of businesses are working on it. It's still too early to say that, like, there are some things in the making. Maybe there will be brands who will be coming up with integrating with ChatGPT's API and building out some amazing tools out there. I'm sure they are working on it. We haven't seen it yet. In fact, ChatSpot is also a very early access that we have got because we are partners to it, and now that it's open for the public as well, it's in the alpha stage at the moment. It's very early stage. I'm sure like 1 year down the line, it'll be in a perfect stage, and 1 year down the line, I'm sure a lot of other businesses, SaaS products, SaaS companies will launch their own version of how they're integrating ChatGPT into their database to get, like, this is one application. I can't even think about what more applications can be there, but I'm sure a lot of companies are working on it, and we'll soon see not in years, we'll soon see in the months to come very intelligent products coming out from these companies.
Yeah, and your excitement is very easy to see there, right? Like I've been talking to some of my friends who work at chatbot companies, and they've been telling us that they're like essentially every single client they talk to now is like, hey, can you also integrate ChatGPT?
Yeah.
And they're like, they're still working on the API. They're still figuring out how to do it.
And businesses are slow usually, right? I mean, when we are talking to our clients, and a very basic thing like a live chat or a chat bot still excites them. Okay, a chat bot where I feed in questions and feed in answers, that'll give me my, I don't have to have a person sitting, like that also blows their mind. Like then integrating their, like the application of something like a ChatSpot into their business, that will blow their minds away. So I really like when I tell our clients about this new product that HubSpot is introducing, and it just blows their mind. Like, how can this be even possible? How can you write content with it and publish it in one go, right? That's the kind of power it has. Like very early stage, it has that kind of power. I'm very excited for what will come around in the coming months.
Okay, enough beating around the bush then. Tell us exactly what ChatSpot is. Give us an idea about what those features are. What exactly does it do?
So I've been playing around with it for more than a week now, right? And it's an amazing tool. I'll tell you a few pros and a few cons in a manner, like because it's a alpha version, it will have some problems, which I'm sure they're working on. There's an alpha 2 in the making, which HubSpot has already like announced they'll be launching. I'm sure it will be launched by the time this podcast goes out, right? So very basic stuff, which you, as I said, which you would ask your CRM expert or your sales manager or your marketing head about those questions, it can answer it like that, right? It has a bunch of questions, like in the interface, if you have seen it already, there are 40-50 questions it prompts you to ask. And questions basic like how many leads I generated in the last 30 days, how many MQLs were there in the last 30 days, how many deals got created, what's the value of those deals got created, how many are in which stage of the pipeline, right? As simple as questions like that, too complicated, like, okay, build me a chart, break the data down by months and give me a lead count from various sources that I have, right? It'll give you as comprehensive as those charts. As I said, like your input has to be very precise. It's still learning, right? The bot is still learning from HubSpot. It'll come to a point where it'll start throwing you charts and everything, right? It's not at this point. One thing that I noticed, which was not that great, like I was expecting that in the first version that came out. It's not a chat bot at this point. It's a Q&A app, right? it does not reply to the counter questions that you ask, which a chat GPT does very well, right? If I ask them, okay, what's the population of US? It'll give me an answer, a number. Then I say, okay, break it down into states, right? It knows my previous question was about the population of US. Now it's breaking it down by states. But when you ask a similar question, okay, what's the lead count that's there in my system, right? It'll throw you a number, and when you ask that, okay, break it down by regions, it'll be like, oh, okay, what do I break it down into regions? Like it can't comprehend the last question and the last answer it gave. So that's something that's not a chat then, it's a Q&A then. You can ask a question, it'll throw an answer, right? That's pretty much the functionality at this point, right? A few things that it can't do at this point is it can't make very comprehensive charts for you, right? The reporting functionality. So what I was looking forward to is all the reporting functionality that I build onto any client's reporting dashboards. Can I do the same with one statement of mine, right? And does that make reporting obsolete at beyond a point that I don't want a standard report? I just ask question, it just throws me data. I can save that somewhere. I can create a PDF out of it. All that probably in the making, but it's not out there. So those kind of questions you can't ask at this point. It'll not throw, like, even if it does give you a tabular data, if you ask it to convert into a bar graph or a pie chart, it doesn't do that at this point, right? And again, like how precise your input is, it depends on that, but it does not take your like half-cooked input and generate something out of it, which a chat GPT does, right? So that's where the limitation is at this point, right? Other things that you can ask it are very in-depth, in detail, right? So for example, if I want to ask like from a team of 10 sales team that I have, break their success down by like how many number of deals they created and what is the won rate for each of them, it'll give you that table as well. So I think for a marketer or a sales team lead in an organization, these are the kind of questions that you ask on a daily basis, and that is what it solves for you. A very interesting thing that they've done is also integrating Google Docs and integrating HubSpot to it, right? So what it does is, if I say that, okay, write an article about AI, the power of AI in 2023, right? It'll give, and you give the tonality of your article and everything to it. In the settings, you can set your tonality. It will be fun or very formal and everything like that, and give you whatever number of words that you want. It'll give you an article. With the push of a button, you can also publish if you're using a HubSpot CMS, right? With the push of a button, you just publish it. You can also mention what, and you can also generate a cover image for it. And in one go, your article is out there. It's very stressing for us, for me as a working with a content company, that, okay, what will happen to my content writers a few months down the line or years down the line. But this is like automating at another level, because it's also publishing your stuff. It's not even writing, it's publishing for you.
When it comes to ChatSpot, what all other tech is it a mix of? I've heard OpenAI, they've essentially picked out OpenAI tools like there's ChatGPT, there is DALL-E 2. I've heard there's Google Docs integrated in it as well.
Yes.
So what does this look like? Like how do these very different technologies essentially feed into each other?
So I'll answer this question from a perspective of a company who's doing a lot of content, right? So you go on to this tool, you type in what topic you want to write about, you mention the number of words that you want from the output of it, and it'll generate a content piece for you, right? How good or bad it is, that's for you to decide, but it'll give you a so it'll give you content regarding it, right? And with a click of a button, you can also publish this if you have the HubSpot CMS also. You're using it, like you just like, it'll ask you, okay, I want to publish. It'll not publish. It'll save it in the draft, right? So that's pretty much that you want, right? You can go there, you can edit whatever you want, and you can hit the publish button. That's like publishing your content will be as easy as this now, right? Plus, you want image into it. You just like that's what another technology into ChatSpot is, that you can generate images out of it. So they have a bunch of image themes that you can pick from, right? So you can choose one of those themes, that my images should be pencil sketch or should be paintbrush or things like that. They have 5 to 6 variations of it. I choose one in the settings, then I go back, I say, okay, generate me a image of a monkey flying an aeroplane, right? Because that's what I'm writing about, and it'll generate that image, and you just save it to your files into HubSpot, and then go into your blog that you just saved, and just insert that image into the blog and hit the publish button. That's how simple they're making it, right? And that's just scratching the surface.
Of course, as marketers, that's why we're mad geeking out about this stuff. But as a CRM, as someone who's managing that CRM, as someone from the sales team who's using it, how does this change their lives? Does it, doesn't it? Is it just a gaffe for them, or how does that work out, right? So what are some of the other features that I should be on the lookout for as someone who, say, has HubSpot and wants to use ChatSpot?
So a very important feature, I'll say a lot of stuff that you do manually on the CRM at this point, they are trying to replicate that experience with the chat, right? So basically what it does is, okay, one of the examples is if I want to add a contact to my CRM, and that's a manual contact adding. There's a whole bunch of automation that's already there. I'm not talking about that. If there is a if you're sitting on an event and you got someone who was talking to you, that's a lead that you generated. How do you record that? Like, you'll go to the CRM, you'll hit the add contact, and you'll bunch of clicks away, it'll save the contact. Now with ChatSpot, what you can do is you can just say that, hey, add Mayank Gulati from ContentNinja with this phone number into my database. It'll add the contact right away. You'll be able to see it, view it on your CRM, like one line, and it adds the contact. If you're researching about, and in fact, for the sales team, as you mentioned, like when they are doing the research about what companies to go after and all those things, those kind of research makes very easy. So if I say, okay, in the edtech space in India, give me the top 10 companies with this revenue of 5 million plus, for example, right? And it will give you a tabular data of those companies. And with the hit of the button, I can say, okay, add these companies to my CRM. It will add those companies to the CRM. It's as simple as that. You can do research on that. Okay, give me more details about Apple US, right? It'll give you all the details. You can click and it'll save that company into your database, right?
So it really helps your ABM efforts as well.
ABM efforts, yes, absolutely. And then if you want to create a deal, just say that, okay, create a deal, link this contact, link this company to it, and it'll do that, right? So all those mundane tasks that you do on a daily basis from a sales and marketing perspective, which takes you 5 or 6 clicks, you can do it in 1 click with this, right? You will have to go into the CRM to clean that up a little bit, but that's like another click. So 2 clicks and you're done, right? So that's the power of it. And it's like, that's again scratching the surface. That's the alpha version that's out there. Beta is there. Then the public release will be there. I'm sure it'll be as exciting as like the very few things that we are able to do. Hundreds of other things will be there.
Yeah, like a generalist AI. This is pretty much what everyone is looking forward. So last question before we call it a weekend and finally let you guys go. ChatSpot is going to change things. It's going to change things drastically and maybe not for the better for everyone, right? So when it comes, definitely for the clients, but when it comes to the people actually working on it, things are going to change. So when it comes to the folks who are under the purview of the HubSpot family of products, when it comes to folks in sales, in marketing, in service, how do you think this is going to change the jobs of all of these folks?
So I think as AI is getting smarter, right, by the day, people need to get smarter as well, right? So that's what I'll say. Like, it's you need to be smart enough to identify the tools that are smart, right? And be smart enough to learn them before others do, right? And start adopting those tools in your day-to-day working, right? Like something like a ChatSpot or a HubSpot. Now, with ChatSpot, it gives a lot of power to HubSpot above all the other tools out there, like a Salesforce, like a Zoho, like a Pipedrive or anything like that, right? Where they don't have the AI capability, or some have, but in a very limited capacity, not something like a ChatSpot can do, right? So you need to pick your tools right. If you're smart enough as a marketer or as a salesperson, you'll know that this is the tool which will save me a lot of time. What do I do with the time saved, right? Can I invest that time smarter for more business development, for more like building more value for my business? And I think that's the kind of people which every company out there will be looking for. Can you pick the right tools? Do you know how to use them, and can you use them more efficiently? So I'll end it with that. Be that person who gets the right tool for your company and knows how to use it as well.
Yeah, smart businesses don't care if you're busy.
Yeah.
If the work of 10 people working full time can be done with with half a day of a forklift operator,
Right.
companies are going to go for the forklift.
Absolutely. And this is the age for that, right? So be smart enough to take the smarter decisions like the companies like HubSpot are doing. So I'm a fan of that.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Pay me money for that.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you for being here, Tushar. Not like we gave you much of an option. But,
Yes.
cheers. See you on the next.
Yeah.